What's up, guys? We are back with Thursday night NFL action with the LA Rams going on the road to take on the San Francisco 49ers. I'm going to break down the injury report, look at player props, and find the best value on the side and over-under for this game. And we're going to cover the entire NBA slate, so buckle up. We have a great video for you tonight. If you want to win all of your Thursday bets, hit that like button. It's good luck and show support for the channel and all the hard work we're putting in every single day. Subscribe to the channel so you don't miss out on our daily content. You can now also sign up for a channel membership by clicking the little join button right below the video. Members get exclusive early access to all NFL and college football videos and get their names up on screen just like right now. I really appreciate the support from all of you. Seeing that little badge next to your comments absolutely warms my heart. Our videos are brought to you by StumpTheSpread.com. We have a team of experienced cappers over there for every major sport, currently covering NFL, college football, NBA, NCAA basketball, NHL, and the UFC. This is one of the best times of the year to sign up. We put a crazy amount of work into our premium content, and getting them right now in the heart of the best time of the sports season is a huge win for everyone. Click the link in the description to go over there and sign up for our free email list and to see our free picks that get posted over there every day. Comment below with any bets you're looking at today, and we will give you our best advice on all of them. We are committed to responding to every single comment every day, so let us know anything you want to say about my picks, these videos, or anything you see here. As always, our favorite picks will be in the pinned comment down below. Now let's get into our Thursday night game between the LA Rams and the San Francisco 49ers. The Rams come into this game fresh off of probably their biggest win on the season. They're only 7-6 overall, so there hasn't been a crazy amount of winning going on. They battled a lot of injuries to their super talented wide receiver group early in the year, but they come into this one fresh off of an absolutely wild 44-42 win there against the Buffalo Bills. Crazy stuff in that game. Probably the most exciting, awesome game of the season. We saw Matthew Stafford have a good game, 320 passing yards, 23 of 30 there. 2 touchdown passes. He was sacked 0 times. Kyren Williams also had a big day. He carried the ball 29 times, only 87 yards, but did find the end zone twice. We saw Blake Corum. He had 8 carries for 34 yards, and Puka Nacua had 5 carries, guys, more than you would expect, for 16 yards there and that touchdown. So a huge day for Puka there, guys. I mean, he also led the team in receiving 162 yards. He got 12 out of his 14 targets, which is very impressive, and also had a receiving touchdown. Cooper Kupp, not exactly right there with him. He caught 5 out of 8 targets for 92 yards and a touchdown himself. So just very good stuff up and down the roster. This was a huge day for that Rams offense. All the skill players having big days, and another great performance there from Stafford, who was just absolutely, running the offense to perfection in this game. The Rams did not turn over the ball in this game at all, so very clean play from them on offense. On defense, guys, it was kind of another story. This hasn't been an amazing defensive team over the course of the season. Hasn't been terrible, but they did not look great last week against Josh Allen. It was a struggle for sure. They gave up 3 touchdown passes and 342 passing yards to Josh Allen. They sacked him 0 times. They also gave up 82 rushing yards and 3 rushing touchdowns there to Josh Allen. Just no answers there in general. The Rams could not figure him out, could not slow him down, just did not have what it took, guys. We saw Khalil Shakir. He had a big day, guys. He caught 5 out of 8 targets, so not insane, for 106 yards and a touchdown. Amari Cooper, very inefficient, only caught 6 out of his 14 targets. So, yeah, I mean, the Rams did what they could to try and slow down this Bills offense, but it was just not really happening. They didn't force any turnovers. Obviously, no sacks there and giving up 42 points. It ended up being enough there in the end, but that fourth quarter was pretty brutal, giving up 21 points. So definitely struggles there from the Rams, but they made it work down the stretch to win their biggest game of the season. So they'll definitely take it. And, I mean, overall, we can't complain too much. They've been playing relatively well. I mean, a win over the Saints, a loss against the Eagles. I mean, as the Eagles, hard to expect the Rams to keep up, with a team like that, and a win over the Patriots. So winning 3 out of their last 4 has kept them in the hunt here in the NFC West. We'll see what they can do in this one, guys. They come into this game a little bit banged up. That injury report not looking super clean. On offense, we got Demarcus Robinson. He's questionable with his shoulder issue. He didn't practice on Tuesday, so that's not ideal. And yeah, for sure, some concern he could miss this game. Limmer here is questionable there at center. That's not great. You have to protect Stafford if he's going to find success against any defense. And yeah, if your offensive line's not healthy, that's pretty concerning. We also see Jackson now questionable there at left tackle. So seeming slightly unlikely that we're going to have a full-strength Rams offensive line, which is a big problem for this offense, not only in terms of, the pass blocking, but run blocking is a big concern for this team as well, guys. They need to have a successful running game to keep teams from just absolutely just, like packing the secondary and double teaming Cup and Puka Nacua, making things really tough there. So we'll see what happens there. Rams not looking super healthy on the offensive line. On defense, things are looking much better, guys. I mean, we see right now Kobe Durant, he's questionable there at corner, trying to come back from a bruised lung. Not something that you're going to be able to comfortably play through unless, it fully bounces back and is fine. And I mean, yeah, your lungs got to work pretty good. You're trying to keep up in an NFL game. So we'll see how that goes. It is a bit of a concern. We'll see if he can play against the 49ers, but I do think, if you're going to be missing a corner, maybe missing a corner against a team like San Francisco might not be the worst time to not have the full strength secondary. So we'll see how it goes there, guys. The Rams obviously have a few question marks here. They're going on the road in this one to take on the 49ers in an NFC West showdown. The 49ers are actually in last place right now, 6-7 on the year, last place in the NFC West. Yeah, it's been a rough season. They've dealt with a ton of injuries, all kinds of different stuff. They come into this game fresh off a much needed win, though, a massive blowout, a 38-13 dominant performance there against the Chicago Bears. So San Francisco has to feel pretty good about that. I mean, Brock Purdy had a nice day. 20 of 25, very efficient. 2 touchdown passes, only sacked 1 time. Just a nice day across the board. No mistakes. He did not get intercepted in this game, so that's very good. No turnovers for Brock Purdy in this one. And yeah, when you're leading a dominant game like that, a lot of good stats are going to pile up and a lot of nice things are going to work out. The running game was also firing on all cylinders, guys. We saw Isaac Guerrero. He had a good game. I mean, honestly, the rookie, 15 carries, 78 yards, a couple of touchdowns there. Very nice. Patrick Taylor chipped in 25 yards and a rushing touchdown as well. So a lot of the damage the 49ers were able to do in this game was in the ground game. Will they be able to do that in this one? It kind of remains to be seen, guys. We have a lot of injury problems cropping up here for San Francisco. Kind of, a repetitive theme. In the receiving group, guys, George Kittle, a massive day. 6 receptions. He got all 6 of his targets for 151 yards. No touchdowns, but very good stuff. Juwan Jennings actually had a couple of touchdowns. He caught 7 of 8 targets for 90 yards and those 2 touchdowns. So very good stuff. Deebo Samuel crying in the locker room, complaining about not getting enough opportunities. He had no 5 rushing attempts, only 13 yards on those attempts. So why would they hand the ball to you instead of, their rookie that's looking much better? And, Deebo Samuel caught 2 out of his 3 passes for 22 yards. So maybe he deserves a few more targets. But guys, I don't know, man. I don't know. It's not a great look to be complaining after a win in the locker room and, making, posts on Twitter and then deleting them, or Instagram, whatever it was. Kind of makes you look like a little baby. So we'll see what he does in this one. See what the team and the coaching reaction to that will be. Will he get more targets, more touches? We'll see. I could see that going either way, to be honest with you. So regardless, a very good day for the 49ers on offense. No question there. On defense, they were dominant, guys. They had 7 sacks there against Caleb Williams, who is playing behind a Swiss cheese offensive line, but also he doesn't do a great job of getting the ball out. So, it's, both parties there are at fault, but nothing good there. The 49ers didn't allow the running game to get going for the Bears. They kept basically every wide receiver there well within, range there. I mean, DJ Moore, 6 receptions for 49 yards. That's not too bad. So gotta love what we saw from the 49ers there on defense over the course of the season. It hasn't been terrible. I mean, they're 21st right now in points against, giving up 23.7 per game. But yeah, it's been, a little bit of a struggle. I'd say it's been at least a little bit of a struggle. They've dealt with so many injuries. And speaking of injuries, guys, let's hop over and look at that injury report. I mean, on offense, we see Isaac Guerrero. He's dealing with a foot issue. He didn't practice on Tuesday, so a little bit worried about him being ready to go. Not having your currently looking like your best remaining running back option isn't great. Maybe Patrick Taylor Jr. and Keyshawn Vaughn can step into that gap, but that's not ideal. So definitely worried about him. Trent Williams is apparently going to be out here for his 4th straight game. The poor guy has had some tragedies going on in his personal life, so I don't blame him for missing this game, especially if he's not even fully healthy. No reason to be pushing that. Yeah, that's rough. Best wishes. Hopefully good things can happen for him and his family down the stretch here. But yeah, not going to see him in this game. So not going to be the full strength 49ers there on offense. On defense, guys, we see, this season continue to be kind of a dumpster fire here for the 49ers. Right now, we see Bosa on the injury report. The dude, I don't know if he wants to play football. I don't know what's going on at this point. He is constantly not practicing and constantly out for these games. So looks like we probably won't see Bosa in this one. Flanagan Fowles also on the injury report. He's questionable, but this is not a unit that, we're gonna be super high on just because of all the injuries they've had over the course of the season, guys. They have so many dudes on IR that are not going to be back this year. It is actually not even funny. It's been very, very tough sledding there for the 49ers in terms of injury luck. So, yeah, looking at the weather report now for this game, guys, nothing too crazy. We do see it's going to be, in the low 50s early in the game, but wind gusts expected in the first quarter, but only the first quarter. I guess as it gets dark, they're going to die down, but up to 17 miles per hour. After that, it dies down completely. So, should be fine overall, but just a little bit weird. The kicking could be a little bit tough there in the first quarter in, some weird situations, but overall, no major weather considerations for this game. In terms of some trends for this one, we see the Rams, they are 6-7 against the spread this year. They're 7-6 to the over. The 49ers are 5-8 against the spread, so they've had a rough time. They are 7-6 to the over themselves. Guys, the numbers here, we've got the 49ers are -3. We've got a total here of 49.5. Brock Purdy on his career, guys, he's 4-0 straight up and against the spread, also 4-0 against the spread when playing on Thursday Night Football. This spread, guys, this line opened at the 49ers -6.5. It moved so much because of the crazy Rams game there against the Buffalo Bills, which, not going to lie, that was a great look, but do we really expect the Rams to do that again? It seems like a very big ask. I'm not going to say it sounds impossible, but it does seem like a pretty big request to see them run it back so aggressively. Guys, I'm leaning towards the San Francisco 49ers -3 in this game. Maybe I'm overvaluing that very good performance there against the Chicago Bears. Obviously, having Williams out there is not great, but I'm not as worried about that here against this Rams defense that really isn't too good. 0 sacks last week and couldn't contain Josh Allen at all. Obviously, I'm not saying that Brock Purdy and Josh Allen are the same, but he can move a little bit if he needs to. I think he'll be all right out there. So give me the San Francisco 49ers at -3. There's some chance it could end up going back to -2.5. So if you wanted to wait around and see, it's possible. I don't think it's probably going to happen again. So taking the 49ers at -3. In terms of that over-under of 49.5, this seems like a spot you probably want to be on the over once again. It does feel kind of bad betting on an over here in a primetime game. So not really an over-under spot that I'm going to be on very much, guys. But let's go ahead and hop over and look at some player props for this game. And we got a bunch of them that I think are very, very interesting. I do like Puka Nacua here, over 89.5 receiving yards. I at least like this one a little bit. It's at -125, so not a great price. He has been over that number, comfortably over that number in 4 out of the last 5 weeks. The kid's on an absolute rampage right now. I can't think of anybody that's really going to be slowing him down too much there on the 49ers. So we'll see what he can do. I'm expecting good things from him and from Cooper Kupp, guys. I like Kupp over 59.5 receiving yards. At -135, it's getting a little bit pricey. I do like it, though. I mean, he's been over that number in 4 out of the last 5 weeks. Nacua is going to get a ton of attention after having a massive game last week, so I think Kupp should be able to get loose for at least 60 yards, and it's not crazy at all to see both of these guys get over these numbers. They're the 2 primary receivers on an offense that, can certainly move the ball. So expecting good stuff from both of them. Also expecting good stuff from Stafford out there. Over 249.5 passing yards at +105. He's been over that number in 3 of the last 5 weeks. So not an amazing, trend here. And I do worry a little bit since, I don't necessarily love the Rams in the spot. They could have something of a letdown. So maybe Stafford over 249.5 is a little bit of a reach. But if you are one of those guys that likes the Rams in this game, I don't see any reason that wouldn't be a good spot. On the 49ers side, guys, I like George Kittle here over 4.5 receptions. He's been over that number in 3 of the last 5 weeks. He soaks up tons of targets here for the 49ers. Obviously, he's a target that Brock Purdy loves to go to, and getting 5 receptions in this game doesn't seem too crazy to me at all. Also, if they end up with, not a full-strength running back group, like throwing some more checkdowns to the tight end, definitely a good way to move the ball. Last but not least, guys, we have a very interesting player prop. Deebo Samuel here over 49.5 receiving yards at -110. Complaining in the locker room. I don't know what impact it's going to have. Is he going to get a couple more targets? Is he going to get a couple less targets? What really is the result going to be? Maybe they just don't care at all. That's probably more reasonable, but over 49.5 receiving yards could be a play in this game, especially if they have a banged up, running back group. Maybe he gets a few more targets. Maybe that just results in him getting a few more carries, and then that doesn't matter on this one. But definitely Deebo Samuel's situation, one you want to keep, an eye on for this game. So we'll see what happens, guys. That's all I've got for Thursday Night Football. Let's go ahead and hop over. We're going to look at some NBA action. We're getting a little bit of a break here from the NBA Cup. We're going to be looking at, these are just regular NBA games. First up, up, guys, we've got the Detroit Pistons. They're going on the road in this one to take on the Boston Celtics. The Pistons come into this game fresh off of a 120-111 win there against the Knicks. So very, very good stuff. It was a look-ahead spot there for the Knicks, who are obviously getting ready for, NBA Cup play. This game happened back on December 7th, so plenty of time off there for the Pistons. They're going to be very well rested here, which is a nice thing there for Cade and some other guys who have dealt with injuries. Cade coming off a massive day there against the Knicks. He had 29 points. He was a plus 16. The Pistons as a team shot 50% from three-point range. That's got to be a great, great feeling. They dominated the boards 43-31 out there. So crazy, crazy stuff in that game. It was a game we saw Karl Anthony Towns not play. So obviously that makes a huge, huge difference there on the glass for the Knicks and, for the Pistons in this particular matchup. So we'll see if they can run it back here a little bit. I mean, a very nice night out there from Cade. 15 points, 10 rebounds, 29 points. That is a crazy, crazy triple-double. We saw Malik Beasley go off for 23 points off the bench. He's having, a kind of a career revival this season, to be honest. He shot 7 of 10 there from 3 in the game. Absolutely crazy, crazy stuff from Malik Beasley. It's very, very nice, guys, to see this Pistons team playing so much better than they were a season ago. They were clearly being held back by a coach that honestly seemed like he was trying to get himself fired. So I hope he never has another head coaching job in the NBA. After a sabotage job like that, you certainly do not deserve one. So we'll see what the Pistons can do in this game, guys. I mean, they come into it looking pretty freaking healthy, as you would expect after, a prolonged time off. The whole starting lineup's good to go. The whole bench is good to go. Things should be looking up here for the Pistons as they go on the road to take on the Boston Celtics, who actually, headed into the break fresh, or this mini break, fresh off of a 127-121 loss there against the Grizzlies. So not an amazing look there, guys. That game was also back on the 7th, so both teams have had plenty of time to rest. In that loss, guys, they just didn't have a whole lot of answers out there. We saw the Celtics shoot, 30% from three-point range. When you go 18 of 60 from 3, I feel like you deserve to lose. I'm going to be honest. I think you deserve to lose. I think you're kind of making the game, the whole product, a little bit worse out there. And if you're going to take that many threes, you better be making some. Drew Holiday led the team in scoring with 23 points. He was 4 of 17 from three-point range. That is a big yikes to me. I'm not one of those guys that thinks the three-point shooting is ruining the NBA. I think it makes the game higher variance, whatever. But I think it does ruin the game when you see teams like this shoot 63s in a game. Like, all they want to shoot is threes, and it gets real bad when they go on these bad runs, and it makes the game hard to watch. So we'll see what they can do in this one. Pritchard played amazing off the bench. We saw Tatum have a bad night. He was 1 of 10 from 3. Porzingis, 19 points. He was a +2 out there. He did some positive things, but up and down the lineup, guys, just not amazing. I guess Jaylen Brown had a good night as well, but not enough to get the job done against the Grizzlies. They had zero answer there for Ja Morant or Jaren Jackson Jr., so definitely a game the Celtics deserve to lose there. So puts them in a little bit of a bounce back spot here after a little bit of a break. They come into this game relatively healthy. We do see Tatum on the injury report, guys, dealing with that right patella tendinopathy. I'll be pretty surprised if he doesn't play in this home game against, a pretty bad opponent. I would think they'd want to have him out there, but we'll have to monitor that leading up to game time. I would be pretty surprised if we don't see him play. Other than that, the Celtics are looking very healthy. Sam Hauser on the injury report. We're not going to freak out about that too much. He's considered doubtful with that abductor injury, but that doesn't really move the needle for me. Looking at the numbers for this game, we see the Celtics are big favorites, 13.5-point favorites playing at home. We've got a total of 228.5. Detroit is actually 8-5-1 against the spread when playing on the road. Boston 4-9 against the spread when playing at home this season. No trends on the over/under for Detroit. Boston is actually a significant over team when playing at home, but I'm not really worried about that over/under of 228.5, guys. I love the Pistons here getting 13.5 points. I think they find a way to keep this game very competitive. They're fully healthy. Boston might not be fully healthy, but that doesn't really matter too much to me. I think even if Boston is healthy, Detroit is good enough to give them a game in this one and make things very, very close. I do worry about Cade's turnovers and stuff like that, so not saying this is an all-in or nothing spot, but I do think the value in this game is certainly on the Pistons and the points. Next up, guys, we've got the Toronto Raptors. They're going on the road in this game to take on the Miami Heat. The Raptors are going to be without Scotty Barnes here for a few weeks after another ankle injury. That sucks, and they went into the break fresh off of a loss. They lost against the Knicks 113-108. I believe that game was played on December 8th, if I'm not mistaken, December 9th. So yeah, they're still relatively well rested, guys. This game's gonna be played on the 12th, so they're going to be chilling. Yeah, Toronto kept things close against the Knicks. Got to give him some credit. RJ Barrett, another massive game, kind of a revenge spot for him going against his old team, but he put up 30 points. Very impressive stuff. Scotty Barnes played 23 minutes before that ankle injury. He played well in that game. Sucks to see him go down again. We saw good stuff out there from, just Jakob Poeltl played pretty well. 12 points, 12 boards, 10 points from him. As a team, they only shot 11 free throws. That's a little bit tough, but they had a huge rebounding edge in this game against the Knicks in a game where we saw Cat actually play. So, yeah, I don't know, guys. The Raptors, maybe they're not too good to tank, but they're too good to tank effectively when they're healthy because this team can definitely put up some points. I mean, Grady Dick didn't even play well in this game. Jacoby Walker played really well off the bench. Like, this is a very very reasonable team, and if they could get completely healthy, I think they could be really, really scary next season. So we'll see what the Raptors can do in this one, guys. Looking at their injury report, they come into this one pretty healthy. Bruce Brown still out. He should be getting close. Emmanuel quickly, showing up on the injury report again. That's a good thing. Imaging on his left elbow showed that he's progressing, but no timetable yet for his return. But it does sound like, that is something that they're interested in having happen this season, which I have not always been convinced of. Bruce Brown still dealing with conditioning. It feels like they're tanking by keeping him out, but we'll see. There's a chance he could be back for this game. Just have to monitor his availability. They're going on the road here to take on the Miami Heat, which things are getting weird. Things are getting weird in Miami, guys. They're coming off a 122-113 win there over the Cavaliers, but it seems like they're really trying to shop Jimmy Butler here, and they're doing it pretty publicly. Kind of crazy. Apparently the Suns are among Jimmy Butler's trade preferences. I've heard the Warriors floated. I've heard a few other teams floated, so we'll see what actually happens there, but pretty crazy stuff how publicly this is taking place. Jimmy says he likes it. So if he likes it, cool. Maybe we'll continue to see good performances from him. Back on the 8th in a nice 122-113 win there over the Cavaliers. Tyler Hero continued to absolutely kill out there. 34 points from him, 10 of 19 from the field. As a team, the Heat shot 43.2% from long range. Jimmy Butler had a nice day. 18 points, 5 assists, 2 steals, 3 rebounds. Stuff in the stat sheet there. Bam had a big day. Duncan Robinson continues to play really well. It seems like he has found his jump shot. So only really positive things to report here for the Miami Heat. They had a huge edge there on the boards. It wasn't maybe the 100% full strength Cavaliers, but close enough that I count this as a big win there for the Heat, who, there's no way around it. They come into this game playing pretty well. Some of their best ball of the season. Cannot deny it. We'll see what impact all of those trade rumors have. What are they trying to bring back for Jimmy? Or is anybody else potentially going to get shipped out? Like, what's going to go on here? It can be a little bit disruptive to a locker room. Jimmy's actually on the injury report for this one, dealing with right knee soreness. He is probable to play in this game. They're probably going to start putting him on the injury report just in case they end up, all of a sudden shipping him out of town. We also see Pele Larson on the injury report, guys. I'm not too worried about that. He's dealing with an ankle issue. He is doubtful for this game, but he doesn't really move the needle for me too much. Speaking of moving the needle, guys, looking at the numbers for this game, we see the Heat at minus 10.5. We've got a total here of 222.5. Toronto's actually 7-5 against the spread playing on the road this season. They're 8-4 to the under on the road. Miami 6-5 against the spread at home. They're 7-4 to the over at home. So this game, an interesting spot. My initial instinct here is to lean towards Toronto and the points. I mean, over the course of the season, Miami hasn't really been a team that blows out a ton of opponents. They are playing some of their best ball of the season right now. They played against the Raptors not too long ago. They won one and lost one. They won at home by 10, and then they lost at Toronto by 3. Is this going to be a close game? I would say there's a chance. Go ahead and give me the Raptors as a very small lean, but this one's not going in the pinned comment. I don't really know what version of the Miami Heat we're going to see right now. In terms of that total of 222.5, I think there's a good reason to lean towards the over, but still not enough to get me super convinced. Last but not least here, guys, we're looking at the Sacramento Kings. They're going on the road in this game to take on the New Orleans Pelicans. The Kings come into this game up to 12-13 on the year, clearly not having the season that they envisioned, guys. They've had a few injuries, but that hasn't been the real problem. They just haven't played that great. They're coming off back-to-back 140-plus point performances and a couple of wins. They've won 3 out of their last 4, so maybe things are looking a little bit better, and I guess they did have that injury to Malik Monk earlier in the season, so I guess they have some excuse, but really, guys, I think the problem has been the addition of DeMar DeRozan, but we'll dive into that a little bit here as we look at the box score. I mean, a huge blowout, almost 50-point win there for the Kings over the Utah Jazz. Jazz. So yeah, good stuff there, but we're not going to freak out too much. Obviously, that's a Jazz team that's trying to lose. We saw DeRozan 0 of 2 from 3, 8 of 14 from the field. He was a plus 19, scored 18 points. Cool. How often have we seen that this season? Very, very rarely. Big game from De'Aaron Fox. Keegan Murray played relatively well, but only scored 7 points. His jump shot's been a little bit all over the place. Malik Monk, nice numbers in his 27 minutes, and the bench got lots of work in, guys. Herter had a big shooting night. He was 6 of 9 there from 3, 10 of 14 from the field for 26 points, and he was a plus 35 in the game. So great stuff there against a tanking Utah Jazz team. I'm not throwing you a parade for beating the Jazz this season, guys. They're going to lose as many games as they possibly can, but it feels like the Kings here have just not been the same team since the acquisition of DeRozan. They didn't really lose anything crazy to get him. It just doesn't feel like his style of play. A little bit of ball stopping going on, a lot of mid-range shots. Like, it just doesn't seem like it fits in with the Sacramento Kings style that saw them be so successful last season. So we'll see what they can do here, guys. They're obviously playing against another pretty questionable team. The Kings come into this one basically fully healthy. Isaac Jones there on the injury report, but we're not too worried about that. We see Fox, Monk, DeRozan, Murray, Sabonis all healthy. Keon Ellis, Kevin Herter, all healthy. So they should be very much good to go for this game as they go on the road here to get back into the swing of things to take on the New Orleans Pelicans, who come into this one fresh off of a loss against the San Antonio Spurs. The Pelicans are going to be one of the most popular trade machine teams out there. Brandon Ingram clearly being aggressively shopped. We'll see how that goes, see if he actually gets traded. I feel like the poor guy is constantly in trade rumors. In their loss against San Antonio Spurs, they lost that game, partially due to not shooting the ball particularly well. They got smashed there on the boards. We did see good stuff from Brandon Boston Jr. That's nice. Herb Jones, another big trade target. He had 12 points. Trey Murphy III, 25 points. He shot the ball well. CJ McCollum, a nice night. 19 points from him, 5 assists. He's another one of those prime trade targets. Dejounte Murray continues to struggle, so we'll see how that saga continues to unfold, but things not looking amazing here for the Pelicans. Obviously, having a very rough season out there. They do come into this game relatively healthy. They should have, all of their main guys. Brandon Ingram, though, still going to be out. Jordan Hawkins still going to be out. Ingram, dealing with that ankle issue. He is out indefinitely. That was not a great looking ankle sprain. Jordan Hawkins with that back issue, he's out. It kind of feels like the Pelicans are switching into tanking mode right now, if you asked me. So looking at the numbers for this game, we see the Pelicans are getting 5.5 points playing at home. We've got a total here of 230.5. Sacramento 6-6 against the spread on the road. They are 7-5 to the under playing away from home. New Orleans 6-6 against the spread at home. They're 7-4 to the over at home. So I guess you could talk me into maybe over 230.5, but probably not, guys. My main lean in this game is just going to be to take the Sacramento Kings minus 5.5. They've been blowing out bad teams lately. I don't think the slightly extended layoff is going to have too much of a negative impact on them. Give me the Kings here to get a comfortable winning cover over a Pelicans team that seems like it's basically in a race to the bottom. They are not having a good season, and all these guys are in trade talks. I don't think that is very conducive to a ton of positive play. That's all the games we have for today, guys. Hit that like button for good luck on all of your bets and subscribe to the channel if you're new. Let me know in the comments any questions you have on today's slate. Thanks for watching. You can click the link in the description to check out stumpthespread.com, and we will see you guys tomorrow for more sports betting action.